Hello everyone, welcome to Defense IAS Academy. Our topic is external sector of India. Under it, we are going to study about the next topic, convertibility. An economy might allow its currency full or partial convertibility in the current and capital accounts. If domestic currency is allowed to convert into foreign currency for all current account purposes, it is a case of full current account convertibility. Similarly, in cases of capital outflow, if the domestic currency is allowed to convert into foreign currency, it is a case of full capital account convertibility. If the situation of partial convertibility, then the portion allowed by the government can be converted into foreign currency for capital and current purposes. It is always be kept in mind that the issue of currency convertibility is concerned with foreign currency outflow only. Listen it again. Listen it carefully. It always be kept in mind that the issue of currency convertibility is concerned with foreign currency outflow only. Let us move towards the next term under this concept is LERMS, which stands for Liberalized Exchange Rate Mechanism System. I am repeating it again. Liberalized Exchange Rate Mechanism System. India announced the LERMS in the Union Budget of 1992 and 93, and in March 1993 it was operationalized. Means the work has been started. India de-linked its currency from the fixed currency system and moved into the era of floating exchange rate system under it. Indian form of exchange rate is known as the dual exchange rate. One exchange rate of rupee is official and the other is market driven. The market driven exchange rate shows the actual tendencies of the foreign currency demand and supply in the economy and the domestic currency. It is the market driven exchange rate which affects the official rate and not the other way around. Other term under this concept is NEER. That means Nominal Effective Exchange Rate. Nominal Effective Exchange Rate. The nominal effective exchange rate or NEER of the rupee is a weighted average of exchange rates before the currencies of India's major trading partners. Let us move further. The next one is REER. R-E-E-R. It means Real Effective Exchange Rate. What it means, when the weight of inflation is adjusted with the NEER, that is nominal effective exchange rate, we get the real effective exchange rate of the rupee. Since inflation has been on the higher side in recent months, the real effective exchange rate of the rupee has been more against. Since inflation has been on the higher side in recent months, the REER, that is real effective exchange rate of the rupee, has been more against it than the NEER, that is nominal effective exchange rate. Let us move further, that is EFF, Extended Fund Facility. The Extended Fund Facility is a service provided by the IMF to its member countries, which authorizes them to raise any amount of foreign exchange from it to fulfill their BOP crisis, but on the condition of structural reforms in the economy put by the body. It is the first agreement of its kind. India has signed this agreement with the IMF in the financial year 1981 and 1982. Let us move further. Now we are going to study about some of the currencies. First one is the hard currency. It is the international currency in which the highest faith is shown and is needed by every economy. The strongest currency of the world is one which has a high level of liquidity. Basically, the economy with the highest as well as highly diversified exports that are compulsive imports for other countries, so of high-level technology, defense products, life-saving medicines and petroleum products will also create high demand for its currency in the world and become the hard currency. It is always scarce, means the hard currency is always scarce. Next one is the soft currency. A term used in the foreign exchange market which denotes the currency that is easily available in any economy in its forex market. For example, rupee is a soft currency in the Indian forex market. Or we can also say it is basically the term opposite to the term hard currency, means the soft currency is an totally opposite to the hard currency. Let us move further. Another one is the hot currency. Hot currency, it is a term of the forex market and is a temporary name for any hard currency. Due to certain reason, if a hard currency is exiting an economy at a fast pace for the time, the hard currency is known to be the hot one. Means if the hard currency exits very fastly, then it will be called as a hot currency. Let us study about the another type of currency, that is the heated currency. A term used in the forex market to denote the domestic currency which is under enough pressure of depreciation due to a hard currency's high tendency of exiting the economy. It is also known as currency under heat or under hammering. Means the other name for the heated currency is currency under heat or under hammering. Now let us move towards the another one, cheap currency. If a government starts repurchasing its bonds before their maturities, means at full maturity prices, the money which flows into the economy is known as the cheap currency, and the name is also given to the cheap currency is as cheap money, or it also known as cheap money. Let us move towards the another one, that is a dear currency. It is totally opposite to the cheap currency or cheap money. So we may also call it as dear money. When a government issues bonds, the money which flows from the public to the government or the money in the economy is general is called dear currency, also called as dear money. Everyone has listened a word about the special economic zone. Now we have another concept is special economic zone, or we can call it as SEZ. The concept of SEZ is not a new one, and it is an improvement to the concept of export processing zones. India was one of the first in Asia to recognize the effectiveness of the export processing zone or EPZ model in promoting export. This policy was announced in April 2000, means the special economic zone was announced in April 2000. This policy was intended to make special economic zone an engine for economic growth supported by quality infrastructure. Now, what is special economic zone? We all have heard about a word special economic zone or SEZ. Now we will understand the meaning of special economic zone or SEZ. It is essentially an industrial cluster meant largely for exports. Listen it carefully. It is essentially an industrial cluster meant largely for exports, and special economic zone is governed by a special set of rules aimed at attracting direct investment for export-oriented production. Special economic zones, earlier known as export processing zones or free trade zones, are duty-free enclaves which are treated as foreign territory only for trade operations, duties, tariffs, and typically marked by the best infrastructure and least red tape. This concept recognizes the issues related to economic development and provides for developing self-sustaining industrial townships so that the increased economic activity does not create pressure on the existing infrastructure. Let us move towards the another concept, that is the GAR. GAR means the General Anti-Avoidance Rules. The General Anti-Avoidance Rules, originally proposed in the Direct Taxes Code 2010, are targeted at arrangements or transactions made specifically to avoid taxes. The objective of the GAR provision is to codify the doctrine of substance over form, where the real intention of the parties and purpose of an arrangement is taken into account for determining the tax consequences, irrespective of the legal structure of the concerned transaction or arrangement. Now, let us move further towards the other concept under this topic, external sector of India, is last one, that is the composition of trade. The commodity composition of India's trade has undergone many changes since liberalization and has been driven by trade policy, movements in international prices and the changing pattern of domestic demand. Main features of India's composition of trade are, we have two types of composition. One is export composition and the another one is the import composition. Let us study about the export composition first. We have, what are the points under the export composition? Manufactured goods constitute the bulk of exports. This is the first one. Second one, top 7 products were accounting which were as petroleum. Second, gems and jewelry. Third, agriculture and allied products. Fourth, textiles and allied products. Fifth, chemicals and related products. Sixth, transport equipment. And seventh is the last one is machinery. Now the second one type of composition of trade is import composition. It is one of the major items in India's import basket is in the POL pump. These are the points under the import composition. Capital goods imports are another major group, and gold and service import. This is the concept which I have given you for the composition of trade, is related with the trade, how it is composite, and I have even explained you the points related to its features. We have even covered the types of currencies under that and the many major other concepts which are covered under it. This is the topic of external sector of India, and here I have told you the difference between the cheap and dear currency, hard and cheap currency, how they are opposite to each other, and even I have explained you the main topic under the external sector of India, that is special economic zone. This is the whole concept of external sector of India. We have covered a whole concept of external sector of India. If you like this, please subscribe. Thank you.